It seems like a huge waste of time to list postcards for such a few sales. Okay, now in this video, we got a lot of stuff to go over, and what sold, I had a pretty good sales day. I'm pretty happy with yesterday's sales. We had 18 cards sold, so we'll go through those. It shouldn't take too long, and I'll do that in the beginning. And what that's about is what the variety of cards that are selling. Some of the things I've sold. Some are average cards, some are better cards, and some things to look out for as you go through the boxes. And then I'll give you the dollars that I got for those. And then there's a special topic. This is a postcard I really don't know a lot about. I know of them. I never really dug down into them. I wanted to do this video so I can get a little more information. I see them all the time, and I have an opinion on them, but I also, the poll today will go along with the special topic, and it's about Tuck's Postcards. Raphael Tuck. Everybody has seen those. They're very nice looking cards, very well done, thick card stock. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Hopefully there's some collectors out there that are really into Tucks, can add to this in the comments, stuff like that. So just a lot of teaser points and some facts about Tucks I'll go over. And then I got some viewer comments. Got about 4 of them. One of them is a question is, why would you want to sell postcards? It just doesn't look like it's worth it. So we'll get into that at the end of the video here, and I'll read to you what I wrote back. And to a point, the guy's right. And then I'll share my opinion in that part of it. But I get that question a lot. So let's go ahead and get started here. So the first card that sold was a ship. This is a print. This is General Hugh Gaffey T-AP-121. It's on a little harder cardstock on there, and that sold for $4.55. Now the next one is an order for 2 cards that sold for $9.10. So that these 2 cards sold for that. And let me get them here. This is the Whalers Wharf, San Pedro, California. Just a view card of a Chrome card unposted. And then this is the Whalers Wharf, another view of the Whalers Wharf. So if you have multiple different views of a place, some people sometimes will buy 2 of them. So those 2 cards were $9.10. This is the USS Chester, another print. This is lighter cardstock on there. The club that I bought these from actually printed these, and they put the titles on there, and that sold for $4.55. Now this card, I was up and down with it. I could have got a little bit more for it, but I'm going to show you why I didn't price it up. I was going to go about $6 to $7, but this is like a George Washington, North Pole discovered by American. I don't think much of this find. Valley Forge was cold enough for me. So a little play on there. It's got an artist signature at the bottom on there. So not a bad looking card. And it was posted 1911 on there. But just the condition of it. Look at the edges. And it's got some curling up here. Stuff like that. I didn't want to have the conversation. I figured someone might want this card as a placeholder or something like that. So this sold between $4 and $5. I could have got a little bit more, but just the condition of the corners, and I didn't feel comfortable in the way it's a little loose in places. So I went ahead and got it out of there, and it probably won't come back because it was such a lower price. If I raised the price up, people got the card, they probably thought the condition might be bad. So that's some ways I look at condition. A lot of times I don't look too much at it, but that card just didn't feel right to me. So I didn't pay much for it at all. I think I'm under a nickel for that card, not even that. So I got it out there to a collector and got out of my stock instead of throwing it away or anything. Now these 2 cards, I'm going to be doing a video about these. I always pick these up. And I think they're just super cards, and I'm sure people out there know what they are. Mermaids. If I can say it right, the Wiki Wachi Mermaids. There's one of them right there. These are just amazing cards. I find them all the time out there. I pick them up and they go pretty quick. These 2 cards together sold for $17.30. Looks like I put an offer on them, but just look at that. And the thing she's holding on to back there is the air hose. These are just absolutely cool cards. But I'm going to do a little bit more research on WikiWatchy. So I'm going to, in 2023 or this year, I'm going to try to do a video on there so we can learn a little bit more history about that and what's out there for what to look for. I think there might be some special ones. I don't know, I get them, I list them, and they go. Next one is just a photo of the Cody DD 508 1969. It's a photograph, 855. And that'll go with a stamp and a label, since those can't go with eBay standard envelope. Next one, this card sold for $8.55. It's the McFadden Duval Hotel. And this is in Miami Beach, Florida. Hotel, $8.55. Posted card, 1952. Next card sold for $12.65. This is the Shore Scene, Peaks Island, Maine. $12.65. Divided back. Posted. 19 something, I can't tell. $12.65. Next thing I sold was a naval ship cover. Cancel. That's what they want right there. This is the USS Waddle, DDG 24, 1975. Look at that big old stamp. That's what it was. Next one's another ship print, USS Laffey, DD 724. Sell the heck out of these prints. I got a whole table full on there, thousands of them. Then I sold the train for $45. St. Lawrence Atlantic, GPA 9, Unit 768. Chrome card. Good card stock. Bermuda cards. I got a bunch of Bermuda cards from Mary Martin auction. They went for pretty cheap. I do have to pay shipping and stuff, and there is a premium, so you do have to price these up. But this is one of them that I didn't price up because the prices, when I comped them and stuff, it says it's $4 to $5. It's an unfinished church in Bermuda. It's a linen card also, so there wasn't much out there for that one. But some of the other ones, there were some that I found pretty good, $7 to $12 range. So I'm going to do well with that Bermuda thing. They do take a while. A lot of them were Continentals, but they should go okay. USS Fulton, AS-11, another ship cover. That's what they want. Nothing on the back. They just want the stamp from the ship. $4.55. And that does go eBay standard envelope. The Gimbal Store, Milwaukee, $7.65. Divided back card. Posted. 1912. Gimbal Store, Milwaukee, $7.65. Next one is San Antonio, Texas, East Houston Street. I thought this would be more, but there's a lot of them out there, and they weren't selling for that much. But Main Streets usually go more. But this one, I went up $1 more than I usually do. $5.65 I sold this for. I just didn't see it out there that I could get. And remember, I price things to sell. I don't go for the top, or I don't race to the bottom. Next one is Dixon Mounds State Memorial, Havana, Illinois. Just a view card. And I think there's some people out there. Right down there. Chrome card. $4 to $5. So that's 18 cards that sold for a total of approximately $118. So 18 cards. Maybe I got a nickel to a dime in each one of these. So $2, and I sold it for $118. That's what Postcards can do. So when we get to the viewer comment, just remember I sold 18 cards that I paid less than a nickel for over $100. That's why we sell Postcards. One of the reasons. Alright, now let's get into the special topic. This one took me a little while because there's so much history around Raphael Tuck and Sons Postcards. It was all over the place because it was during the war. Some of them, they had different offices and stuff like that. There's so much history out there. They even have a database out there that I'll talk about as well when I get into the pricing. But let me show you some cards here while I talk a little bit of some facts about Tucks. Raphael Tuck and his wife Ernestine opened a small shop in 1866. In the early 1900s, Tuck opened some more offices, including one in New York. During this time, World's art galleries could only reach a few people, while Mr. Tuck's postcards went to millions of individuals at every level of society. Tuck firm did some black and white printing in their London offices. The majority of color work was contracted for in Germany. Now this is before the war with Germany. The First World War caused issues for Tuck as they contracted printing with Germany, and when that was cut off because of the wars, he had to go to less skilled workers in other countries. In 1883, Queen Victoria granted the firm the royal warrant of appointment. Tuck's cards thereafter bore the message, "Art Publishers of Her Majesty the Queen." Each Tuck card had an imprint of the British Royal Coat of Arms. Editors have found that the only absolute with Tuck numbering system is there are constant exceptions. So editors have found the only absolute with the Tuck numbering system is there are constant exceptions. Trying to make sense of the Tuck numbering system invites frustration. There are many thousands of Tuck cards that do not have numbers. Series is a word used very freely and extremely inconsistently by Tuck. It causes so much confusion that is basically ignored. So if you're putting series and stuff in the titles and stuff like that, it's basically ignored by a lot of collectors. Their numbering system, as I was reading, is one of the most confusing, with the exceptions, and inconsistent part of the Tucks. Many Tuck postcards were sold in packets of 6. There were others that had more or less, and we're going to talk about the packets, the envelope part of it, and the pricing. I found some of those. It was due to the efforts of Adolph Tuck that the size of the postcard in England was increased to the size allowed by the Universal Postal Union. After years of negotiations, Adolph Tuck, the son, succeeded in convincing the British Postmaster General that a larger card could have a picture on one side and a brief message as well as the address on the other. So part of his efforts is to divide it back. So Adolph Tuck was one of the main ones to drive that, and it started over in England, where you could have the picture on the front, message and address on the back. Raphael Tuck and Sons works include Victorian greeting cards, calendars, paper dolls and toys, jigsaws, pottery, and picture postcards. So they didn't just do postcards, there's a lot of other stuff. The trademark oilette, that's a special postcard, and I do have some in my store for those. This was a type of card used by Tuck to make the postcard look like a small painting. They wanted to make the postcard look like a portrait painting with the brush marks and stuff. That's what the oilette is. It's a trademark name for a card, and I always put that in the title. If you look in my store, I think I got the Men's of Letters or series, whatever, of Tucks. A bunch of those. Those are oilettes, and you can see them on the back it says oilette, or you can kind of look at it and know. All Tuck ephemera is very collectible. There's a lot of collectors for it out there. There are many Tuck postcards out there. It is hard to cover everything pertaining to Tuck's postcards here. There's just so much history. It's a very interesting story to read about, and I'm sure I'll probably get into it a little bit more. But those were some of the Tuck cards that I found, just to show you that it just touches on a little bit of what's out there. The sell-through rate. We flip postcards. We buy them, we resell them. Some people collect them. I'm a reseller. I buy them to sell. But I like to buy things that sell. The sell-through rate is high as possible. That way they turn over. So what is the sell-through rate? Sell-through rate is the sold divided by listed times 100. And 100 just makes it a decimal. So I went out there and I put into eBay, postcard space Tuck. That's all I put in there. It seems by just doing that, I got more results. And some of them could be not Tuck cards, whatever, but it's just a very easy way to do it. It's not scientific. I didn't vet everything out. It just gives me a ballpark figure. There was 31,000 postcard space Tuck cards listed. 4,300 sold. Times it by 100 gives you a 14% sell-through rate. And you're saying, well, that doesn't sound real high. But when you compare it to other postcard sell-through rates is what you want to do. Postcard Space Nevada that I use, 11%. Tuck's is at 14%. So this exceeds the top one of the state's cards. Postcard Space Indiana is 8%. Texas, Postcard Space Texas is 7%. And one of the lowest is Postcards based New Hampshire, 4%. So Tuck is up there at 14%. Disney cards are like 12%. So the sell-through rate on Tuck postcards is pretty good. I haven't found that with the cards I have for Tucks. I don't have a lot of them, but they don't move as fast, and you'll see that in the comments. But what's out there on eBay shows a 14% sell-through rate. So they are higher than normal average cards. So it's something you want to look at on there. Now there is a way to look at the Tucks cards. There's a site out there, and I'll put the URL here, the link here. It's called TuckDB, Tuck Database. Postcards is a free database of antique postcards. So it's tuckdbpostcards.org is what you want to go to. And you need to learn how to look at the site, poke around a little bit, and figure out how they got it figured out. But there's ways to put numbers in and different things like that. Most Tuck cards have a number, but it is inconsistent and confusing in some pieces. But I've been able to find the cards that I'm looking for. You enter the number in at the top, and you search for the card, and you can put in the title, words to search, and stuff like that into the website. So I'm not for sure 100% if the prices are current, because I see different prices on websites and when was it last updated and stuff like that. So you just want to use it as a reference point. I wouldn't say if one says $3, it's not selling for $30. It just depends on the market. But it gives you a reference point. Hey, do I have a below average card or average card, or do I have something special here I need to do more with? It gives you those sorts in your head. But it's better than nothing to start with. So here's the TuckDB site, and when it pops up with the card, it'll show you the set title, the set comment, the artist, the estimate, that's the price, and the orientation. Is it vertical or is it horizontal type thing? So you can go out there and another site with WorthPoint, eBay, Terapeak. Now you have Tuck. You get a Tuck card, you can go out to this tuckdbpostcards.org site and do a little bit more digging. So I thought I would mention that. Now let's go out and see what's on eBay for these things. So I picked out 3 high cards. First one here is like a anamorphic cat. $130. It's a foreign card. Not bad. Next one, $56. And then $46 for one of the patriotic. I think the patriotic cards are just awesome with Tucks. I just don't seem to sell them real well. So you're looking at some higher value cards in the sold high here for Tuck postcards. But then you go over to the sold low. 50 cents, 99 cents, $1.36. So there's people throwing these things up. High, some really good ones, and then some lower ones on there. So you want to be very careful. So I would vet on TuckDB website, look at different things, and see what you got. But you're going to fall in between here on the Tuck cards. That's probably why I don't do as many of them, because like the Thanksgiving cards, I know I don't sell the holiday cards as much as other people. And the patriotic card, I bought a bunch of George Washington Tuck cards. I ended up putting them on Whatnot. I think I maybe got out 50 cents for them. I kind of lost on those, but they just didn't sell as well. So just because it says Tuck doesn't mean it's worth gold. You have to vet it out and probably sit on it for a little bit. Then you get over into listed. And what I did here is I actually found the listing and then tried to find a sold for it. If not, I went to tuckdb.org database and tell you what it says it's worth. So the first one here is 1910 RMS Carpathia Tuck Oilette. Remember, oilette means they want to make it look like a painting. Steamship Titanic Rescue Ship postcard. So this is like a rescue ship. They have it listed for $975. Found a sold for this one, best offer at $275. And best offer. That's a big spread. TuckDB right now says this card's worth estimate $250. So you got $975, $275, $250. So you got a $275 and a $250 there. That's probably what the market's going to bear, not $975. Next one is Postcard Navy University College Girl. $200 they have it listed for. TuckDB says it's worth $40. Vintage Tuck Santa Claus in green robe. So a green robe Santa Claus, that's pretty cool. $87. You say, wow, that doesn't seem wrong. TuckDB says it's only worth $30 is what it's going for. So what would you do with that one? I'd say a green room Santa would probably be above, where would you think that'd be? So it gives you reference points. So TuckDB says $30, you think it's worth $90. It gives you references on there and stuff like that. And he's got best offer on it too, so maybe someone will come in at 40 or 60. So that's how you can use TuckDB to help you make decisions. The more data you have, the better decisions you make. Then we get into the listed low. Now some of these are not bad priced compared to TuckDB. This first one is $1.96 for an Easter card. TuckDB said it's worth $3. Not far off. I wouldn't sell a postcard for $1.96. Next one is a Tuck artist signed comic postcard. Books and their readers. They have it for $2.50. TuckDB says it's worth $3. Next one is To My Sweetheart Tuck postcard. They have $2. TuckDB says $3. So they're not far off what TuckDB is doing, but still, people can get more money for postcards. They're going to sit sometimes, but don't put them up, for $1 and stuff like that, unless you're doing auctions and doing thousands. There's another whole model for that. But that just shows you TuckDB, that average price is $2 and the average from TuckDB is $3. So that's how you can use the pricing to help make decisions on if you got something special or not. And as I talked about, a lot of Tuck postcards they said were sold in packets of 6. So I said, I haven't seen any of these in packets. I know of the packets a little bit. Let me go out and see if I can find a packet. Look at this one. This is a packet, a postcard. 7 Tuck's postcards, $11.78, and that's the picture of the packet. The next one is Tuck's Oilette postcards with the original packet. So that's an original envelope that they came in, $17.69. And then a series of Bombay postcards, an original packet. So there's the 6 postcards and the original packet for $6. So if you find these in a packet and they say Tuck's, those little packets can be worth something, and it helps with the value of them on there. I don't know. These are the ones I found. I don't have any. I've never seen any as I looked through the Tuck packets. I don't think they were made out of the paper that was really going to last that long. But if you see the Tuck's postcards, like open those packets. A lot of times I will skip over catalog, card, fold out things. But in my mind now, if I see a packet like this, I'm going to look and see if it's a Tuck's, because I know there's a little bit of money for these packets. Just a packet alone would probably be worth something. But Tuck's postcards, if you know a lot about those, more than I talked about, leave it in the comments. Educate us on more about the Tuck history, or if you collect them and a good collector, just like Tom from Dear Doctor. He had 40 years on the Dear Doctor postcards. Let us know. But I do pick them up. If I see them in lots, I get them a lot more in lots. A lot of Easter, Thanksgiving, and stuff like that, I don't deal with. Patriotic cards I don't do a lot with anymore. They'll go on Whatnot, or I'll lot them up at the flea market and stuff like that. They just don't seem to move for me as it does some others. But I do check them out. And if I have any questions, I go to TuckDB. So I wanted to find out what other people thought about Tuck postcards, since I have limited knowledge on these. So I just threw a poll up there on the community tab, and that's in the channel under community, and you can see all the polls we get and what people are looking for. And at the end of the year, I'm going to take all those as I can, and I'm going to put it together in a video to talk about best practices. What are most people doing? So we can kind of gauge ourselves and say, hey, they're doing this. 90% of the people are doing this. So I'll be putting that together, maybe December or going into January once I get it all done. But I put a poll out there. What is your opinion on Tuck postcards? Leave notes and comments. I just wanted to know what people's opinions were, not just mine. The Flower Girl said she loves them. Christina said they are neat postcards. Some of them are very neat looking, and some sell fairly well, but not all of them. I sell some of them from time to time. Yeah, sounds like an average postcards. Thanks everyone so far. Tula, I think I'm saying it right, Tula, I have numerous tuck postcards, some in better shape than others. Based on my selling experience, it is the subject matter and to a large degree the condition that drives the sale rather than the publisher. I would say she's correct in different things. The subject matter is very, very important. The condition's very important. And then publisher, yeah. I mean, there's Detroit Publishing, there's Tuck Publishing, Dexter Press. I don't think a lot of postcard people I sell to search by those publishers. The hardcore collectors might and stuff, or if they're looking for a special card, they know the publisher. So I think she's correct in that statement, and appreciate it. Thanks, Tula. Design your cards. There are collectors, or design your cards said there are collectors, but they are slow sellers. That's what I'm getting a common theme here, that tucks are a little slower sellers. Usually get $5 per card, average card. I like the look of them and do list them because I like them. That's the only reason I do postcards. I like them, as you'll see in the comments here coming up. Never sold a really valuable one. Neither have I. I've never really. I thought the oilettes would be something when I first started into them and stuff, but I saw one here, one there. Sometimes I don't even notice that it's a tuck, I guess. Thanks, Design Your Cards. I like tucks. I have a good bit in my collection. I feel like they are better quality paper. Some of them are nothing great, but others are really neat. Yeah, the paper, you can feel the difference with the cardstock on some of the tucks and the embossing and just the colors and the artistry. It just amazes me on those. Thanks, Kim. Postcard Shack, Gary. Great artwork. That's all. Yep. 2 words, 3 words. Great artwork. Subject. You'd think they would sell like crazy. I sell more chrome cards of a tree than I do the Tux cards. It's just amazing. Biff Buffo, better quality than most from the era. I agree. I usually mention tuck in the title. Yes, I put postcard. If I notice it's a tuck, I'll put tuck somewhere in the title as well. Maybe not up front, more into the end of it. If there's room, exactly. But I don't know how much that helps. I think it helps some. If people are actually looking for tuck, it might pop up. But if you put it in the publisher, the item specifics, it would probably pop up also. Or the name of the card. I'm like him. Anything can help. It's just all the pieces of the puzzle together will help get it up in search. There's no magical one secret. Changing your handling time from 2 day to 1 day it's just one part of the puzzle. Going in and putting postcard in the title or filling out the item specific, offer and return. All of those are just pieces of the puzzle that eBay looks at, is how I understand it, to make the best decision for the buyer search criteria and eBay itself. So it's just a whole puzzle, and a lot of people have lately been really caught up in thinking eBay is the competitor and spending so much time on these eBay hacks and this secret stuff. They think there's a secret hack that'll get them more sales, when really what it is just put more good cards up, make sure you're pricing. I don't hear a lot of people talk about reducing expenses right now. All I hear is I went in and changed all my item specifics, or I changed my titles, or I got better pictures. They need to look at their business as a whole, not just the hacks on eBay. I call them hacks because it's a hamster wheel to me. I don't do a lot of it. I just list the cards and I sell what I can. eBay is not your biggest competition. It's the other postcard sellers. eBay is just a site I need to manage and understand and focus on. And right now with the sales and stuff like that, people are reaching out there trying to find something. There is no absolute one secret to get there. Sell-through rate is one of the biggest things. Looking at solds, buying good stuff at a good price, reducing your expenses right now is probably one of the biggest things I tell people when they recommend, is look at your expenses. Where can you cut? This year alone, I cut out about $2,000 of my expenses. Just by looking at ones every month. I cut this out, cut this subscription, found a better price for something, negotiated something. I went and negotiated my insurance for my business. I knocked off something like $300 over the next couple of years, just by saying, sitting down with the insurance lady. All of that adds up, not just one thing. Saying that putting in the title helps, I would think so. The image sells the card more than anything, absolutely. The image on there. You could have the best camera in the world and everything like that. I just stick them through the scanner. You get the front and the back. They sell. I've even sold postcards that I accidentally flipped upside down. So it's just one thing, is what I'm saying. But that's what people are thinking about the tux things. I think I'm on the same level they are. They're out there. I'll pick them up, but I'm not looking to flip them as fast. I probably need to understand what are some of the more higher priced ones, and that wouldn't take long for me to go do a search on high priced tuck postcards. But just be careful with the pricing of these. A lot of people think they got gold because they look so well done, but they just don't move as fast. That's my opinion. But if anybody's out there is a real hardcore tuck postcard person, I'm looking to talk to you. I'd like to learn some more and what you do with them on there. Leave it in the comments. And if you'd like, maybe we can get together on a call like I did with Tom, and we can discuss tucks. So there's many ways we can do that. So thanks everybody that participates in the website. It really helps level set me, and it gives me a lot of data to look at and share with everybody. Thanks again. Now we're going to get into the comments. A couple of these are a little shorter. There's one long one in here, and I get this question a lot. A little controversial, but not really. I'm not here to defend what I do or what others do. But one guy had a question on there. So let's start with an easy one. Minnesota Matt. I like that name. Minnesota Matt. It kind of rolls off the tongue. Are postcards worth more than blank unused postcards? Thanks. Fun niche. Yeah, absolutely. Fun niche is postcards. Once you get into it and learn basics and get up to the hill, it just, from there, the sky's the limit. Are they worth more? What my opinion is, the subject on the front of the card is worth, it doesn't really matter what's on the back, to most people that I sell to. Your stamp people like the cancels and look at the stamps and the cancels and stuff, people that get more into that world will look at the back. Some people want clean cards. They don't want anything on the back. It's a personal preference, but majority of the people I sell to, it doesn't matter if it's posted or unposted. I don't get I don't up it or down the price because of that. Now if it has the black stuff from the albums on the back and stuff, I try not to list those. Unless it's a really good subject on the front, it'll go into the flea market box. And the flea market box, for people that watch my videos, is a box under my table here. And I just throw damaged cards or cards I don't list, like Cypress Gardens or Washington DC's. I already have a lot of. I toss them in there, and I have a guy at the flea market that'll buy them for $5–10 the box. I don't know what he does with them. Maybe crafts or sells them himself. But it's a way to move them that I don't want to list. Instead of just sitting them in a corner somewhere, I just don't. And when the box is full, I go get another box. So like with winter coming up, maybe next year I'll have 4 or 5 of these boxes, and I'll put them in the back of my truck, and then I'll text him and say, hey, Tom, or whatever his name is, I forgot. What was his name? Todd, I think. I'm coming out next Sunday. And he'll stop by. He knows where to go. Picks it up. No, it's an easy way to move them on there. But the front is what I look at mostly than ever. And condition to a point. If it's a real nasty card, rips, tears, whatever, I won't do that. But to answer your question, are postmarked cards worth more than... I don't see that with people I sell to. Leave it in the comments if anybody else thinks the same as I do or differently. Thanks, Minnesota Matt. Schriker 20. Schriker's been around a long time on the channel. Happy to hear you're working on increasing your average sale price, ASP. Every time I see one of your 455s, I think, Mark, that will sell more than that. Have fun sourcing better cards. Yeah. Now remember, one of the things that stops resellers, and they need to stop doing this, is resistant to change. They think they got the holy grail. They think their way is the best. I try not to touch on shipping, packing, listing, and stuff like that, because people are so passionate about it that they get stuck and they say they're not going to change. Data drives my business. Numbers. I'm reducing the sites I sell on. I'm reducing my higher priced toy line, my action figures. I've been working on that for the whole year. Well, what I've noticed is my average sale price is dropping. When you hurt your average sale price, it's going to hurt the bottom line. I need a certain amount of money every month to pay the bills. Plus, I like to have a little extra put into the business or put in my pocket and do things. So I said, I need to bring my average sale price up. Most cards I sell are $455, $465 is where I start. Now to get the average sale price up, I need to source a little bit better cards. Still do the other ones because that's the bread and butter. Those cards I sell all the time. Now, why do I sell them for $465? Because I can. I get them at very cheap. And I can reduce it, and I price to sell. But I've noticed I need to bring my average sale price up to offset the changes I'm making in my business. Now, do I need to bring $10, $20, $30 cards in there? No. I just need to up it a little bit to bring the margin because there's such a good margin on postcards. But Stryker noticed that, and sometimes I will miss a card that I've missed it. It's a $10, $12, $20 card I've sold for $455. Just the way I do things. I didn't notice it, but I learned quickly on that. But I am not resistant to change. I will pivot to do things. Now, will I still list $455 cards? Absolutely. I sell the heck out of them. Ships are all $455 because I got them from the club. That's the average price out there. There might be a couple of these boats that are worth more, but overall, I look at an average. I sell a $10 card, I sell a $4 card, a $6 card, $5. My average price needs to be between $5 and $6 going into 2023 on there. But you got to have cash flow coming in. If you price everything at the top dollar, you're going to sit and wait for that money to come in, and some months it's not going to come in enough. Where if you price it a little lower or do a few things to get cards moving every month, then you're going to get cash flow, allow you to buy some of the better cards. It takes a while, but I'm not afraid to pivot. Thanks, Stryker. Now, the next question came in, and some people get defensive about stuff when people say things like this. Me, I look at it and I love these questions because it makes you think. So this person said, Mark, you said in this video that for every 100 postcards you sell, you sell 2 per month. That's what my data says on my spreadsheet. Out of all the cards I have listed for the month, listings, sold divided by listed, it's 1% to 2%. And I think Kelly's running around 2% as well. It's 2% sell-through rate. That means out of every 100 cards, you sell 2. That is an average. That's an estimate, approximate. It can go up and down on the days. Can you explain to me why in the world it's worth to sell postcards if what you said is accurate? Yeah, it's accurate. It's my data. It's a calculation that I have in my store is 1% to 2%. Tux cards on eBay were 14%. Tux cards, I don't break it out that way. I just do the number of cards. I mean, even if you list 2,500 cards, that's only 50 cards per month you sell. It seems like a huge waste of time to list postcards for such a few sales. I have a bunch of postcards that I have bought to sell and have listed some. But with this info, I am not sure I want to continue with postcards or why anyone would want to continue with them. There is a lot of other things that have a much better sell-through rate that would be better use of time and energy sell. Thanks. I get this question all the time. When people ask me, what do I sell? Postcards. They go, they don't sell. Postcards are one of the top 3 collected things in the States. Coins, stamps, and postcards is what it is. I replied to them and I said, you're correct. A lot of people have the same feeling that this person had. I go, a lot of people that start selling postcards get discouraged and stop. Postcards are one of the top 3 collected items along with stamps and coins. Some pros on selling, so I put some pros in here that I see, and you guys can add to this as well. Some pros on selling postcards, they're easy to source, cheap to purchase, easy to list, easy to ship, and takes up very little space. Very low returns and buyer issues. Just plain cool. I love dealing with postcards. I really like doing this. If you like what you do, you'll be successful on fulfilling that part of it. Yes, I have sold other things and brought a bunch of money in, but enjoy postcards more. Quantity is a part of selling postcards unless you have a good amount of the higher end cards. If you deal with those higher end cards and stuff like that, that's a whole different model than what I do. I'm more of your $4 to $6 card. You're divided back down to chrome. Other people deal with RPPCs. They're going to get a lot more money, but they pay a lot more for them. It all averages out. Depends on the model. Some people do auctions. They'll send out thousands of cards every week for $1 and $1 shipping in an auction, and they might sell 200-300 of them. The models are all different. If you have a good amount of the high-end cards, then the sell-through rate will change. That model, it will change. The 1 or 2% sell-through rate is for average cards, which is mostly what I have. That's the bulk of my cards. That's my niche. Would I go full-time selling postcards? No. I would never recommend that to anybody, just to make a living off postcards. I'm just not that risk of a person. Some people might be successful doing it, but I will never recommend people to do that. And I don't go down that. They can do whatever they want, but if they ask me directly, I would say no. I'm not going to base my life, my house, everything else on reselling postcards. So unless you're really, 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 really good at it, and you have a lot of good stuff. But there's so many variables. To me, myself, I would not do that. And it's just a personal thing. I'm from the days of 9 to 5, regular paycheck, benefits, stuff like that. That's just how I don't risk that part of my life at all. Now, so I said, not if I depend on reselling as my single source of income. That's what I'm talking about. That's the only thing coming in. I'm just not wired that way with my age and what I've come up in life with. It is not for everyone. A lot of people will get a stack of postcards and they'll list them, and they'll list 100 of them, and they don't sell. They put them up for prices that are at the top, or they don't understand them. They think they just because they got one of the Queen over in England. Well, there's thousands, millions of those. There's certain things you have to learn about postcards. So let me give you an example here on an opposite view of this. If I sell a minimum of $70 a day in postcards, times I do that every day of the year, 365, that's $25,550 in gross sales. Reselling business, let's say I bring in 50% profit, 40% of that. Because I'm going to reinvest in the business. I'm not going to show all my profit. I'm going to buy another camera, buy another light, or buy some more stock. So I'm going to reinvest in stuff. So my profit from my postcards that I sold is 40%. That's about $1,000 a month. A little around there, approximate $1,000 a month profit. That's all I need. This supplements my retirement. Some people will want more. They need to have $6,000 a month to pay all their bills. So they need to get more cards listed, more higher end. But if I just do $70 a month in postcards, that's $25,550 a year. 40% is roughly about $900 to $1,000 in my pocket profit after all my bills are paid for selling this. The opposite viewpoint, yeah, I can go out there and find stuff. I've done it. I have some other stuff. I have action figures. I have some other items, hard goods in there. I have about 90 listings now with about 600 items. I'm reducing that a little bit. I don't have to buy boxes, tape, or stuff like that. I sell a postcard. It goes in a 6-cent envelope. And I pay 60 cents. If they don't receive it, I'm out 60 cents, 75 cents. I'm an electronic technician by trade. That's my degree. That's what I did for all my career. So I know electronics. I know computers. I built them. I don't sell electronics. I don't sell anything with batteries in there. Very rarely will you see. I have some light bulb, but my father-in-law wanted me to put up there. That's about it. Anything that plugs in and stuff, electronics, I don't sell online. And why would I go out there and the person's looking at postcards? It doesn't seem worth its time when I'm looking at, I'm not going to clean clothes, shoes, and stuff like that. I don't think that's worth the time. So it's a different opinion. But people are very successful with electronics. They're successful with shoes. They're successful with postcards. So it's just what you like to do. If I had to, the bottom fell out of my revenue coming in, my income, and I had to wrap this up and I could sell it, whatever, I would do it. But if I have my choice, I will do postcards. But right now I have that choice. Some people don't have that choice. They have to sell electronics. They have to sell shoes. They have to do whatever they can to get money coming in. I understand that. But if you have a choice, in glass, why would anybody sell glass, ship glass? I am the worst at that. I give it away at the flea market if I find glass. But there's some people out there that do so well with that stuff. I'm just not good with it. I'm like a bull in a china shop. So it's not a controversial statement. It's someone saying, looking in from the outside, saying, why would anybody want to do this? And I take it as, I don't need to defend it. I like it. And there is money in it, and I am successful with that, and other people are too. It's just fun. The margins are just huge. When you buy something for less than a penny and you sell it for 20 bucks or $5. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of patience, and there is a learning curve. But this channel has a lot of the stuff that will help people get over that first hump. Put your first 1,000 cards up. Get your scanners and stuff in place like that, envelopes, and do all the basic stuff. It's a breeze. And augment your other stuff with postcards. But if you just put 10 postcards up, unless they're very special, they probably won't sell. But thanks to the person that put that in there. I like comments like that because it challenges the questions that I always have. Why am I doing this? It's because I like it. Then we get the last question of the day. Andy Robinson, Mark, thanks for blazing the trail ahead of me. I appreciate the work you're doing for the postcard sellers on eBay. I have the goods and I use your advice often. Thanks. I'm not the most perfect, best reseller in the world. There's some things that I probably say I don't do in some areas, stuff like that. I wanted one place with like-minded people to talk about postcards. You guys have taught me, reseller there, have shown me different ways of doing things, and I've gotten better from that, and I hope I've helped other people. But if you look at a lot of the stuff I do, I try to back it up with data or other people's opinions as well. I am opinionated in some things, but I'm easy to change. I'll follow the golden path anywhere, but I'm not afraid to take a left turn and say, hey, I need to change. Just like with the average sale price, I need to bring my price up a little bit because I'm changing my business on there. So thanks, Andy, and keep it questions in there. Now with the tuck postcards, one of them that I do had a lot of them were the Thanksgiving cards, and I did a video about that. Are they more collectible than sellable? So check out this video on the Thanksgiving cards and learn a little bit about those. Maybe I can learn something and sell them better than I do. You have a good day. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks.